Hey there, welcome to Hiker Homily. I'm just out here walking around again, and as usual, topics pop into my head that we like to pontificate on. Hey, this time I want to talk about a term and a little bit about the people that term is attached to. And that term is hiker trash. Oh my gosh, hiker trash. Now, for those of you who are not deep into the hiking community, especially the Thru-Hiking long-distance backpacking community, some of you may be thinking, what in the world? Because I have seen that kind of reaction. While I get my camera straight here. I have seen that kind of reaction even from other hikers in online hiking groups. I know, online hiking groups. So maybe they're other hikers, maybe they're not. You never know. But, especially folks who are mostly into, day hiking and things like that. You start getting reactions like, hiker trash? Why would anybody let themselves be called that? What a gross name. So I started looking into that term. Where the heck did that come from? And you know what? I have no idea. I'm a pretty decent researcher. I think I've covered that in one of the other hiker homilies. I learned how to do that in college. That's what historians do. They research things. But there's just no record of that. When that started. I know I was heavy in the backpacking community back before the internet days, starting in the early 80s. And that wasn't a term that was bandied around. As far as I know, even for the hardcore backpackers that were out there, there weren't many of them doing that. That may have been the origins as way back then, but I don't remember it being a term that was thrown around much. That doesn't mean that's not when it started. It just hadn't become, quote unquote, a popular term at the time. So I don't know how far back the origin of that term goes. It could definitely be the AT, because that is a culture in hiking unto itself. It really is, from what I've heard. And they've had that going a lot longer as far as being a regular thing than the PCT. For a while, the PCT was like that fringe trail. It's been around for quite a while, but it was that fringe trail that some people did sometimes. Where the AT, for quite a long time now, has had a train of people going on it back and forth for years, every year. So it may have originated out there. And it may have started out as a derogatory term. Because, just listen to it. Hiker trash. These freaking hiker trash sitting around this town. And I have a feeling that was the origins. Unfortunately, I have no real proof or seen any actual research that was done yet to really try and find its origins, where it first started. But if you know the long-distance backpacking community, the thru-hikers, the ones who are doing the big, long trails, you will realize that when these folks are out there for sometimes as long as 5-6 days, and they come into town after 5-6 days in the wilderness with no shower, no real way to keep clean, no way to really shave, and even if they did, they wouldn't really take it just because that's just extra weight and a waste of time. Why are you going to shave? Who are you trying to impress way out there, right? So they get into town, and there are all kinds of anecdotal stories of hikers being mistaken for homeless, and people like slipping them money or giving them the piteous look or giving them the scum, oh, you guys are scum look that some unfortunately homeless get. And so it may have been a term that started there as an insult. That, oh yeah, it's not homeless, but it's one of them hiker trash that just come into town to buy some food and then they skedaddle. But regardless of its origins, it has become a term that most long-distance hikers have taken as a badge of honor. they proudly proclaim themselves hiker trash. And I see the appeal in that. I really do. There's a lot of things that goes on where, you know, you kind of take back this term. We're going to use it ourselves as a badge of honor, and so whenever somebody calls us that, it doesn't bug us anymore. And so I really think that that's probably what was going on with hiker trash. It probably started out as a kind of a derisive term, and then the hikers themselves decided, the hell with them. I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm gonna take that and call myself hiker trash. That way the next time I go into a town, if somebody says, oh, you're hiker trash, heck yes I am, it kind of takes their power away. They're not insulting you anymore. And so I really have a feeling that's how it became the term that it is today. Probably started out as a derisive term. Now it's a badge of honor that the hiking community, the long distance hiking community, uses on themselves. But yeah, if you pay attention, if you're on YouTube, you probably have watched some of the long distance hikes and stuff like that. And yeah, long distance hikers, you get a different mindset. You kind of have to in order to do long distance hiking. You cannot be fastidious in your hygiene and your cleanliness. You just can't. There's just no way to do that. No matter how much you might want to, there is no way to do that when you're out on the trail. Yeah, you can carry wipes with you and you can do the basics and stuff like that. But when you're out on a trail and you're getting the wind to blow dust on you, and you have to cross this creek and then through this mud and things like that, you're going to come out of that wilderness after 4 or 5 days of that looking pretty rough. And most thru hikers are not bothered by the way they look. And that bugs some people in our society. That's why I think it became a derisive term at first. Yes, there's a lot of people, that's why they don't like homeless people and they make fun of them. Because they look disheveled and they look dirty. And that freaks some people out in our society. Our society has this cleanliness situation where everyone should be at a certain standard. Well, thru hikers get rid of that standard, mainly because you just can't. You cannot keep that standard. And also when they get into town, they're generally very hungry. And they're looking for things like resupply, a good hot meal of real food. Sometimes they're ravenous. They have hiker hunger, so they'll eat a lot. They'll buy huge amounts at the restaurant and they'll just pack it down. And then they'll lay around for a while their body handles that influx of food. And so that kind of behavior I think brought in the term hiker trash. And then, like I say, from that point, the hikers kind of adopted it and decided, fine, well, I'm hiker trash. Cool. But when I started doing the research, I was hoping to get more on it. And there still may be more out there. I wasn't able to do in-depth research because I'm doing a bunch of other stuff in my life. So I didn't have time to do some major research on it. But the bit I did, I was not able to find an actual time origin or anything like that. And if I do, I'll maybe do a follow-up on this. But how about you out there? What do you think about the term hiker trash? Do you not like the term? Do you now consider it a term of endearment? Are you cool with the hikers using it on themselves? Do you think it's silly? Whatever, let me know. You have any anecdotal stories? Because there was quite a few. When you do any kind of research on hiker trash, you end up getting a bunch of anecdotal stories about people when they got into town. People walking up to them and handing them money and giving them the pity look like they would a homeless person. And I got to tell you, as a thru hiker, I'm not going to say no to money either because I'm just going to use it for resupply. But it's just kind of, you get all these anecdotal stories, which is what leads me to believe that was probably the origin of the term. Behind their backs, they're called hiker trash. And then eventually, when that got out, the hikers decided, I like that term, I'll take it. So any anecdotal stories? Have you been called hiker trash? Have you ever felt like hiker trash? Do you think it's a dumb nickname that the hikers shouldn't adopt? Let's hear it. Always at hikingforhealthca@gmail.com. Comments below and at the other social media sites that I am on as Hiking for Health CA. And other than that, this was kind of a semi-short one on the term hiker trash. Wow, hiker trash. We'll see what I look like after 110 miles on the PCT and wanting to do more. But for now, that's what I was going to talk about. As always, thanks for watching. Always appreciate anybody who's out there watching. If you just found this channel, happened to look at this video because it was interesting to you or something, and you haven't subscribed, please do. I appreciate it. And definitely click a like on the video. Always appreciate that too. And other than that, we'll catch you later.